Oh, I know this is late, and I know that you guys are not going to be happy about it. But yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for 6 things that we learned from Chelsea 0, Crystal Palace 0. When it comes to excitement for this game, I was absolutely buzzing for it. I was at the stadium yesterday, and the reason that there wasn't a video is because articulation became slightly difficult, let's say, come the end of the day. I enjoyed myself yesterday. I don't get to many Chelsea games, even though we went to all of the games for the World Cup. I don't get to many games, and I don't get to go and watch the football with my friends too often. So I apologise that this video is late. But Chelsea 0, Palace 0. I don't want to sit here and say that this is the worst result in the world. I don't want to sit here and say that because on game week number 1 we've drawn 0-0, it wasn't the most entertaining, enthralling game of football that I've ever seen, but I'm not too worried about it. I don't think it's a bad point. When you think about Crystal Palace, their last 2 matches competitively before this one, they won the FA Cup beating Man City, and they won the Community Shield by beating Liverpool. This is probably one of the best managers in the Premier League that we're up against, Oliver Glasner. Defensively, they're incredibly solid. And I think what we saw yesterday was, in a weird way, like the energy from Chelsea just wasn't seemingly as high as what it even was in the pre-season friendlies. But I don't want to look into it too much. But to be fair, when it comes to actually coming up with the 6 boxes here, there wasn't really that much to talk about from the game. There wasn't tons of chances. I found out about a new footballing rule that I didn't even know existed regarding the flipping Mark Gurhey in the Chelsea wall whenever Acheampong hit the free kick. It's a brilliant finish. Maybe Sanchez could have done better, but in the end it doesn't matter. And other than that, there wasn't really too much to do. There was the potential penalty for Robert Sanchez almost punching Mark Gurhey in the back of the head. But other than that, Crystal Palace didn't really threaten Chelsea, but Chelsea didn't really threaten Crystal Palace either. So as games go, I'm happy with the clean sheet. I think there was a lot of positives defensively that we're going to talk about in this video, but going forward, Chelsea just looked a little bit toothless. I feel as though Palmer wasn't really able to get into the game. As a result of that, I think Joao Pedro also struggled to get into the game too. So there isn't really much here for me to go through. So let's go into the boxes. Box number 1 is a green for Joao Acheampong. As much as he did give the ball away a couple of times, and there was a shaky moment where he makes that pass out from the back, and that's exactly what Maresca wants him to do. If he's going to be in that central position, you've got to be able to distribute it. And there was a couple of times where the passes were a little bit wayward. But other than that, I thought all in all, he had a very solid game. And I'm happy that he even got given the start. Obviously, Tosin being injured just before this match, I think it was the day before, on Saturday, we found out that Tosin was injured. Obviously, Levi's going to be out for the season. Fofana not ready yet. Badiashile still injured too. Chelsea have got a bit of an issue here when it comes to the defence. And I think as long as Tosin isn't out for too long, I think Chelsea will have to go in the market if that's going to be the case. We know that we don't have the same level if Levi Colwill isn't in the team, but I thought Joao Acheampong played very well, so I've given him a green. Box number 2, I've given a yellow to Joao Pedro because, in terms of how well he's played so far at Chelsea, there's absolutely no doubts that he's going to be a fantastic signing for us. But I just think we, as a team, collectively, really struggled to get him involved in the game. And I think as much as we've been creating lots of chances, scoring goals for fun in pre-season, dispatching of PSG and scoring 3 against them in the final, it was a little bit worrying yesterday from Chelsea. We looked a little bit toothless. Now, I'm not going to be throwing my toys out the pram. I'm pretty calm about this. It's game week number 1. We've had a busy long summer and we're champions of the world. So everything is fine and dandy. But Joao Pedro, I thought he struggled, and I think we actually looked better in sort of the last 20 minutes or so when Liam Delap came on for his Premier League Chelsea debut. I thought Delap looked sharp. He had one chance, really, that he kind of swiped at, hits it straight at the goalkeeper. Wasn't the greatest effort, but there was absolutely nothing, really, from Joao Pedro. And I'm going to say that a lot of that was down to the fact the service wasn't there. Cole Palmer, I've also given a yellow. And as much as, like I said, this isn't a bad draw, I think Palace are going to get results against a lot of good teams this season. So I think when we look back on this, it's not going to be seen as that big of a deal. But you do have Man City winning very easily. You've got Liverpool beating Bournemouth 4-2 in a great game on Friday night. And you've also got Arsenal winning yesterday too. Man City beating Wolves, sorry. So Chelsea here have already dropped points. Cole Palmer just didn't get involved. And I think the game was so difficult for Chelsea because Crystal Palace were just packing out the middle of the field and we couldn't really get any combinations going. And I think what was missing from Chelsea was the runners. There was no one really trying to beat a man, no one trying to get in behind. And what I found frustrating, I think, mostly yesterday was what we saw in the Club World Cup and during pre-season was the width being held on one side. But I feel as though Chelsea yesterday, the wingers were too isolated out on the wings. There wasn't any dynamic overlapping runs. I think Cucurella was one of the closest to scoring, and that came from a corner. So Chelsea just didn't create much. And obviously yesterday, we've got to say, it wasn't the best game from either Joao Pedro or Cole Palmer. Box number 4 is a green for Estevao. And this is a conversation we need to have because I'm not convinced by what I saw yesterday from Gittens, not going to lie. It is his first game in the Premier League, first game for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in a competitive fixture. But Estevao looks so lively. And I think when I talk about beating a man and actually taking players on, looking to get beyond the Crystal Palace wing-backs and their centre-backs, Estevao was the only one, really, that was able to do that. I think Pedro Neto made one good run in the first half, got to the byline, cuts it back, and then Crystal Palace get it away. They've got very competent, solid defenders. But Estevao, I think it's going to be so difficult to keep him out of the team. And I can imagine that we're going to see this happen quite a lot this season. Estevao on the right, Palmer through the middle, and Pedro Neto over on the left. I think it's a really bright debut for Estevao. I had a good chance as well that I think maybe he should have shot a little bit earlier in the second half that he blazed over. But I tell you what, that Andre Santos chance, that's still rising. It's somewhere out the stadium. It's all the way at Heathrow at this point. But the finishing yesterday from Chelsea was poor. Box number 5 is a yellow for Jamie Gittens. He looked raw yesterday. He was maybe a little bit nervous. I don't know. Like, it was just, as a game of football, as much as I really enjoyed the day with my mates and all of that, and again, sorry that this video is late, but it was just so flat. And I kind of feel like, as much as I don't want to get too carried away with disappointment here, because we've got West Ham on Friday, looking forward to that one. That's going to be a tough game away from home, but West Ham are struggling. They don't look great, but it's always a difficult place for us to go. But I'm not sure if Gittens should be starting every game right now. Obviously, we've only got, 13, 14 days left of the transfer window. We're still working on bringing in Garnacho, bringing in Xavi Simons, and offloading Nkunku and Nicholas Jackson. I don't know, I'm not, obviously, like I said, I don't want to throw my toys out of the pram here. I don't want to overreact to anything, but in terms of what I saw, it wasn't great from Jamie Gittens, I'm not going to lie. Box number 6 is just the energy. It was very flat. I think the atmosphere at Stamford Bridge, I'll say this, atmosphere was absolutely brilliant yesterday. Beautiful day, 25 degrees, sunshine at the bridge, absolutely nothing better. And I don't know what the announcement was supposed to be at 1:30. I was there, I was in the stadium. What was the announcement? Did I miss something? I genuinely didn't see what it was. But the energy on the pitch looked as though we were pretty tired. And I don't know if that was just because we were finding it difficult to break Palace down. And I think I saw a stat where I think since Oliver Glasner came in, they've got the 4th best clean sheet record in the Premier League, Crystal Palace. So all in all, not really too much to talk about as a football match. It was pretty boring, I won't lie. Chelsea, I think we would have lost those games in previous years. I think Palace would have had a chance. I think we potentially got quite lucky, although the rules are the rules, right? I'm listening to pundits talk about, oh, well, now we're going to see a lot more goals and free kicks chalked off. Well, yeah, maybe we will, if that's the rules. You know what I mean? If he's not allowed to do that, he's not allowed to do that. So, yeah, 0-0, Chelsea Crystal Palace, first game of the season. There will be a watch-along for the West Ham game. I'm not going to that match. There will be a watch-along and everything will be back to normal. This week on the channel, I'm just in London spending some time with my mates at the moment. So if there is less content, that'll probably be why, because I'm a little bit busy this week. Kind of taking a little holiday, I guess, just spending time with my best mate in London, which has been nice because I haven't been able to do that now for quite some time. But anyway, thank you guys for all the love and support on the channel. Apologies that this isn't the longest and greatest 6 things we learnt video in the history of GBFC. But we've had some good ones recently anyway, haven't we? The pre-season ones were great. Club World Cup, we won that. Make sure you go and check out the matchday vlog from the final, because that is probably still my favourite video I've ever made in 13 years, 14 years nearly, of doing bloody YouTube. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. If you do want to buy anything from the Chelsea Megastore this season, check the QR code out on the screen and also the link in the description. GBFC10 gets you 10% off everything at the Chelsea online Megastore. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.